Hey everybody, welcome back to the farm. So I got a little project I'm going to work on today. I guess I always have a project I'm going to work on, but anyway, I've been thinking the last few days, watching the forecast and stuff, the weather they're talking about the best way to kind of protect the cows and provide their feed for the next few days, so that, or for later this week I guess, mostly Wednesday night through Saturday. Looks like we're going to get the coldest Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday, going into Saturday. Today's Monday. Today looks like it's going to be a pretty decent day, so thought I got some time here today. Thought I'd try to take advantage of getting the cows set up for the later in the week. I've got hay rolled out for them in the way we've been doing it out in those lanes that I was kind of talking about last time. Rolled out some hay for them yesterday. I think I hauled hay Saturday. Rolled out some hay for them yesterday, and I've got them set up out there on the hill where they were, some area out there we hadn't unrolled any yet, and then I've got hay that I'll turn them into probably tomorrow morning in another one of those lanes. They should be good through today. Tomorrow morning, turn them into another one of those lane areas that I've got 3 bales unrolled in. That should get them easily through into Wednesday, and then probably Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening before it gets dark, I'm going to move them into this area here that I'm going to work on now, but I'll kind of show you what I'm doing and catch a little bit of this as I go maybe. Okay, so this area up in here is the area I got thinking about the other day. You can see I've got a hot wire. This brings my power out from the building all the way out here, but you can see where I cleared a little strip up through there going up towards that far post at the other end earlier in the year, just so I had a straight shot to get through there. I've grazed this area twice this year, but this area, best I can tell, they fenced this area out back in from kind of what the NRCS guy and I found, or what he found on the maps. A pond up above up here was put in 2009, and the fence on that kind of matches the fencing around this area, so I'm kind of thinking that since about 2009 this in here had just been left go, and obviously it grew up with a lot of cedars and stuff, but I'm going to use these cedars to my advantage, and this area here that's hasn't had much grazing and stuff on it. Like I said, I grazed it twice this year, and that'll help stimulate it. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to go out here and thin out some of these cedars in a few of these areas here today, take those cedars and use them to kind of build some extra windbreaks. Obviously leave some of the cedars standing, but create enough area in here that I think I'm going to set about a half dozen bales in here, ready for them to bale graze starting, like I say, Wednesday night, probably into Thursday, or Wednesday night through Saturday. I guess I'm going to try and put enough hay in there to get them through Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, but and let them bale graze this area. This area needs more fertility added to it and more animal impact and stuff, so get some of those cedars out of there, set some of those, like I say, set some of those bales in here. I'll just unwrap them and set them in here on end so they can bale graze on them. That'll give them enough feed for those 3 really cold days, and that'll give them some windbreak, and they're talking winds up to 50 mile an hour, I think, Thursday night and maybe into Friday. They're saying blizzard conditions down here, so and maybe 4 inches of snow prior to that. So that's part of the reason, rather than rolling out hay ahead of them in here, I want to set it up just for bale grazing, because I was a little concerned if we would unroll the bales. I know they could find it, but I don't want to make it too hard on them when it's so cold looking for it. I don't want to make it that easy, you know what I mean? I don't want to, I'm not trying to spoil them or pamper them, but at the same time, I want to make sure that if we get a bunch of snow blowing around, it doesn't cover up their feed to the point that they have to work too hard to find it in the cold. So I'm thinking this area is going to allow them to access their hay easily, because it will be, the bales will be sitting there ready to be grazed. Obviously, they, a 5x6 bale, they're not going to get buried with snow. They're going to be able to find them, and then also they'll be kind of in here amongst these cedars to where they'll have some wind protection. So they should be pretty comfortable in here, and they have all these trees and brush along this ditch in here. We'd be looking to the northwest right now, so there's a pond dam up at the top. There's a bunch of cedars that grew up in this fence. We started cutting some of them out, but for the time being, it's going to be nice that they're still there, I guess. We've got other places that we could use also, but this is the closest kind of to where they're grazing right now. So anyway, I'm going to get to work on this, the dog and I guess for now. Cut some trees, and then we'll probably go get the skid loader and move some of them around a little bit and get some bales and set them in here, and I'll take a couple videos from a couple different areas out here and we'll see what we end up with. Okay, so from up here you can see out here where the cows are bale grazing at now. This section they're in and going out towards those, you can see the bales, some of the bales I hauled the other day out there on the hill. I kind of tried to set those in a way too that'd make them a little bit of a windbreak out there, but for the winds they're talking, I don't think that's going to be adequate. There's, I don't know, 25 bales or so sitting in that area, but I don't think that's going to give them a lot of a windbreak. So right here, there's this gate behind me now. You kind of got this messed up, but there's a gate here. Goes out into the area where they've been bale grazing. We've probably unrolled bales on, you can see some of that out there, but we've probably unrolled bales on about, I'd say about 15 acres of this piece, maybe a little less, 12 to 15. And there's a little bit of area up here in the middle, kind of where they are, that hasn't had hay unrolled on it, but I unrolled a couple of bales up in there yesterday, just thinking while it was a little nicer and warmer here. That's a little more of an exposed area for them, I guess, out on top of a hill. They don't have much protection, so I thought we'd try and cover that area while they had a little more favorable weather. But so this piece here, back into the little piece I'm talking about we're going to work on, and you can see actually Allison and the kids cut all the trees out of this little section here a few days ago. So they've got these, maybe a week or so ago when I was gone, they were messing with this, but I'll take these cedars that came out of the fence there and use those to make one of my windbreaks. But I want to get them down. It's kind of high right up here where I'm standing. I want to give them a little more protection down over the edges so they're not so exposed up here. I'll probably set a couple bales up here that they can come up and eat on. But if it's real windy, I want to give them some down over the edge where they're a little more protected. We got all the trees cut out of this little section of fence going down here that, again, there's a bunch of them. I don't want to pick them up with a grapple and smash them up too much. I want to try and leave them kind of fluffy, so I'll probably just pick them up with forks and stack them kind of in a row or whatever to make a windbreak out of them. And I'm going to try to get some use out of them before we chip them up or stack them up or whatever we end up doing with them, but use them for some natural wind protection and help benefit the cows. But this calf's headed down there. You can see where he's headed down to water at. So I've got down beyond that water, I've got an electric fence down there before that ditch, and that's the one that brings the power out here from the fence at the buildings. And I'll be able to open it up down there. I can move the wire around a little bit, but so they can get around. You can't really see the corner post from here, but there's a corner post down there at the end by that ditch. They'll be able to get from that water around out into this piece that way, and then back up here where I was at those gates where the ranger's at, they'll be able to come in up on the hill. So they shouldn't be, it's kind of a goofy way this little section's fenced, but I got thinking about if I could open it up on the top and the bottom both like that, shouldn't have anybody getting separated and confused on how to get in and out of here, the way it's kind of laid out. So anyway, that gives you a different angle on it here. You can see right here it doesn't look real thick, but some of these areas is pretty it's pretty thick with cedars. So I'm going to kind of try to be somewhat selective in leaving some of the ones that that'll make a decent little permanent, I guess, natural windbreak, and that will create some shade and stuff for the cows when they're in this area later. But I also want to open it up a little more just so we're not letting it get so thick in here that we're smothering out the grass and not growing anything. I want to make sure we can kind of balance out the trees with still getting forage growth and stuff. So anyway, I better quit talking and get something done. Alright, so I just stopped for a second here. I'll show you kind of what I've been doing and what I think my plan is with what I've seen while I'm out here this time, and kind of trying to achieve my other goals for this piece down the road here. So I was pointing from up on the hill where this corner post was, down by this ditch, and there's a pond dam there in the background and the water that they'll be using. My goal here, probably next year, is to pull this permanent fence out of here because it just makes it too restrictive. Actually, all the way around this little piece we're messing with right now, but I'm going to put a down the road. I took some video of this. I don't think I ever made a video with it, but I put some dual wall from the outlet of this pond down through here, dug a trench down in here, and comes down in behind these trees. Won't get into all that right now, but anyway, my goal is to build a berm or a terrace, whatever you want to call it, across this area over to about the same elevation as this water, so it's flat across this draw. And then where I put that dual wall on the outlet, I used a big enough dual wall so I can put some holes in that later and use it to catch the surface runoff between this terrace and that dam and put it underground so I can have a better access across here and to stop this erosion at the head of this ditch here below this dam. There's some pretty severe erosion down in there, and I'd like to stabilize that and get it seeded in a way that keeps it from eroding more. But so anyway, with pulling this post back and with putting that berm in there, rather than having cows going up and down this hill, which doesn't look that far up there or that steep in the camera here, but you can see they've got some erosion on there, and it's actually a pretty good slope going up there. Like I say, it doesn't look that steep here, but it's fairly steep, and the cows over the years there have caused quite a bit of erosion. This fence obviously goes straight up the hill, so I want to change this around. But right now, that was the only access down into this water, was to come down that grade down here to this water below the dam. And then we cleared all these trees, put that pipe in, made that spot to get across over there behind that other fence, so that we could bring cows from that other side down in. But they still come down that slope. It's not as steep of a slope over there, and we haven't had them on it when it's been real wet or anything. We've kind of tried to watch when they use it, but we're going to have to use that this winter to get from this water back out to the north. You can see some bales up on the hill over there in an area where I want to unroll bales at too. And anyway, I want to get this level crossing across this terrace. I'll put a wide top on it, 12 or 15 foot, whatever I can come up with the dirt I can borrow on this other side, and give ourselves a good access going that way. But connected to that same project, or kind of with all that, tying that all together with the rest of what going on, I want to be able to come back through here, kind of where these braces are, and come back down along this ditch, or along this this draw, this wooded, all these trees along here, and I want to be able to go clear down here to where the other pond dam actually is that we use for access to come across down there. That's where I started the video at, down there earlier, and make it so we can come around without going up and down a lot of hills. We can come out here alongside this draw kind of for access, and we can stay on a little more level ground, and not be going the way we have to get around now. You go up and down a lot of the, straight up and straight down a lot of the slopes on the hills instead of kind of across the slopes, which causes a lot more erosion. I want to get away from that. So anyway, with the trees I've cut so far, you see this guy, and then you can see all the way down through here along this wire. I've got all those guys laid over down through there, clear down to the other end, and then up around this tree I've got a bunch of these guys knocked down up in there. Now I've left a couple of those trees out in there, and then I left obviously this guy here we're standing next to. So my plan is to take everything that I've cut so far and to stack it between this tree and this tree and that tree and that tree. And that's kind of at a slight southwest angle, the three of those, the way it cuts across this hill. So that'll allow the cows to be able to get on both sides of that. If I stack cedars up in between those, that'll create probably, I'm guessing that'll be at least 75 feet, maybe 80 feet. And if I have extras, I'll go off of one end or the other with them when I stack them in there. But that'll create a pretty long windbreak there, and I'll try to stack them, you know, however those cedars will kind of sit, try to stack them up on each other a little bit. But going down the road, I'm guessing that this bigger tree, that bigger one up there will stay. That middle one might not, but I'm thinking for right now, you can see where I threw one cedar in there next to him, and I might have one wedged in next to one, I guess next to both of those up there. But down the road, that middle one will probably come out. Probably just leave these two bigger ones for something out in this area. But I'll build a windbreak between there. I'll probably end this video here in a minute, and once I get kind of everything put together here, get my bales all set out here, I'll make another little video to show what I ended up with. It'll probably make more sense. But anyway, my goal is to end up with windbreak there. That'll give them a windbreak on the, you know, they can get on the east side of there, so it'll kind of block them from the west and northwest. If we're getting that east wind like they're talking as this is coming in, they can get on the west side of it here. I'll leave the right up there, they're not real thick, but over in there farther, there's a pretty thick stand of cedars along that south fence on this little piece, and I've thinned a few out in front of those. I might take a couple more out, but I'm going to kind of try to leave a row of those permanently anyway. I'm going to take the ones out that are right in the fence row eventually here, but probably not right now. So those will help with a windbreak from the south. And then this draw here, that's this timbered draw, will give them a good windbreak from the north. I'll move this electric fence wire right down close to that so they can get down there closer. And I will I'll get a windbreak from the northwest, kind of in here. There's kind of a, you can't really see it in the video, but there's kind of a bowl shape in here that will give them some protection. And then with these cedars that are down in here farther, there's kind of another bowl shaped area down in there. So they're going to have a lot of options for wind protection out in here with this weather that's coming in. And while they're getting wind protection, I'm going to be able to utilize them to add fertility to this little piece and bale graze them up in here, so we can add some more nutrients and stuff back to this and kind of hopefully improve this area for grazing next year. But anyway, I'm going to end this video for now. Hope everybody has a great day. We'll call this part 1, and when I get done with this, I'll make a little video of what I end up with and check back and kind of check that out here over the next couple days. So hope everybody has a great day. Thanks for watching. See you later.